Welcome to Celebration Generosity. I'm Dave Ferguson, and I serve as the lead pastor for all our community locations in Chicagoland. And I absolutely love Celebration Generosity. For us at Community, maybe the best way to describe Celebration Generosity is kind of like a once-a-year holiday. You know how on Thanksgiving you make the very best meal possible and you all celebrate together? Or at Christmas time, you go out and buy all the people you love the best gift you can, and then you celebrate together. Well, that's what Celebration Generosity is for us. It's that one time a year when we bring our very best gift to God. It reminds me of a verse in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9. And it says this, "Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce." Now, if you've been around church for a while, you understand that first fruits is to be the kind of that first 10%, that tithe. And that's true. That's what he wants. He wants that first 10%. But it's not just the first 10%. That first is also first place. It means he wants to be first place. He wants the best. And Celebration Generosity is this time when we get to say in a bold way, God is first. He's first place in my life. It's this once-a-year event where individually and as a church, we make sure that God gets our very best. Now maybe you're thinking, hold it, holiday? What, like Hallmark holiday? I never heard of this holiday. No, it's more like a birthday, because I think it's something God birthed in our story as a church. About 6 years ago, the same time a lot of businesses were starting to feel the recession. So did we as a church. About 6 months into our fiscal year, our giving was just slightly up, but not nearly meeting our projections. And so we started asking amongst the staff, should we back off a little bit, back off the vision, slow things down, throttle back? I called a day of prayer and fasting for our staff. We prayed all day Tuesday. We got together and regrouped on Wednesday. And I remember asking the staff, I said, "Staff, what do you think God's telling us to do? Where do we go in the middle of this financial crisis?" There was a lot of silence. Finally, one of our guys spoke up, and he said, "I know we're in a crunch, and I know we're in a crisis, and this may not sound like it makes sense, but I don't think God's calling us to shrink the vision. I think God's calling us to expand the vision." It was definitely not what I expected. So we began to pray about this. And we soon felt like God was asking us to take one weekend's offering and simply give it all away. It would not go to the shortfall. It wouldn't go to the ministries behind the walls of a community campus. And so despite the shortfall, what we did is we gave it all away on a single weekend. And so in the middle of this financial crisis, we did something, everybody else thought was crazy. We put God first, and we gave him our best. And the result, I'll never forget it. As we counted the offering, it was by far the largest offering we'd ever taken. In the middle of this financial crisis, we collected and then gave away $250,000. Now my reaction, this is the truth, my reaction was, wow, $250,000, that's awesome, we just gave that away. But then my second reaction was, we're so far behind in our budget, we just gave away $250,000. This stinks. That's kind of the truth. But I'm so glad we did. And 5 Celebration Generosities later, we've now given away, listen to this, more than $2.3 million. And today, we're going to reach more people. We're reaching them at more sites and accomplishing more for the Jesus mission than we ever have before. And you see, that's what happens when you put God first, when you give God your best. That is what Celebration Generosity is all about. Now, I'm also happy to announce that from our Celebration Generosity dinners this last week, we already have $167,000 in advance commitments for this year's Celebration Generosity. And that's more advance commitments than ever before. So at your location, here's what I want you to do. Take this envelope and a pen, and I want you to begin to fill out this section right here. It says your name, your email, and your campus. Your campus pastor will explain how we'll be using this at the end of the service. But let me tell you, this is your opportunity to make a clear and bold declaration. God is first, and I'm going to give him my very best. Now, before we get to that, I want you to hear some of the amazing stories of life change that are happening through these awesome 4 teams that we're supporting. Our Community 412 team, they're at work in Joliet, Chicago, Romeoville, and East Aurora. And you're going to get to hear just one example of their great work that's taking place in the city of East Aurora. But before that, you'll hear from our Haiti team, and we have this brand new partnership with Compassion International.
Current statistics indicate that nearly half the world's population lives in poverty, defined as less than $2 a day, and that 1 in 6 people live in extreme poverty, less than $1.25. But poverty is not actually just about a lack of money. It's about a lack of opportunities, a lack of choices, a lack of access to all sorts of things that many of us consider essential to life. Poverty is about a lack of hope. Poverty doesn't have just one facet, and so we cannot fight poverty with just a single solution. And understanding this is at the core of Compassion's Holistic Child Development Program. Picture all the different aspects of your life, your family, your work, your home, your faith, your community, as spokes on a wheel, and then think about what might happen if one of those spokes were broken or missing. It's no different for children living in poverty. If they are to develop and thrive, the spokes that make up their lives need to be strong and uniform. It's what drives Compassion's holistic approach, focusing on the spiritual, economic, social, and physical needs of every child in our program. There is no question that poverty is a complex matter, and so solving it is complex too. Complex, but not impossible. We can end poverty. We are ending poverty, one story at a time.
Hi, my name is Jim Melton, and I'm the Global Partnerships Director here at Community Christian Church. I'm excited to announce a new direction that we'll be taking, a direction that we hope will transform the lives not only of people who are living in Haiti, but also of people who are living right here at our Community Christian Church. We have a new partnership with Compassion International, and through that partnership, we're able to form a relationship with a church in Duvier, Haiti. It's a church that doesn't have a compassion program right now, but due to our generosity, it enables them to start a program. And what that means is this. It means that there's 200 children right now who are living in poverty. But 1 month from now, with our generosity, we will sponsor these children and give them a chance at a future. Give them the hope that they so richly deserve. Our sponsorship will impact kids like Abel. He was an 11-year-old boy who actually lived in Haiti. At that time, when he was 11, he didn't have the money to pay for school. He was one of the children that you see in the videos who just struggled to find a meal every day. He found his way into the Compassion program, and at which point he did so well that he got into the Leadership Development Program, which means they paid for his college. He did so well there that he came to America and enrolled at Moody Bible Institute.
Me, Abel Joseph. Born in poverty, growing up in a poor country in the Caribbean, nobody will know that I will be today a fulfilled Christian leader, a professional.
Then the earthquake hit in Haiti, and Abel decided that with his master's degree in hand, he would go back to Haiti and help his people recover from the earthquake. He got a job there, started a business, gave other people employment, and even sponsored 2 children in his own country on his $700 a month salary.
And I have a dream. I have a vision of transformation. I dream that one day Haiti will become, like South Korea, a partner country of Compassion International.
It's through relationships like that that we hope the poverty that we see in Haiti will be eliminated not just by us, but by the people who are actually living there today. But our hope is even greater than that. Our hope is that we will impact not only the poverty that we see in Haiti, but it will make us even stronger and grow in our faith to make our church better than it's ever been.
It's about providing opportunities for the children of Haiti to grow up, to be the leaders of Haiti, to be the godly men and women who are going to change this country forever.
Even though it has taken us long, but it is worth it, because we are investing in the people and not just erecting a building and walking away.
At Community, we are committed to restoring God's dream for the world. 10 years ago, God broke our hearts for our neighbors in East Aurora when we saw the difference in the quality of education in East Aurora versus surrounding more affluent communities. We do not believe a child's zip code should determine the quality of his education or the promise of her future. So for the last 10 years, Community 412 has partnered with East Aurora schools and spent time blessing the community, beginning with prayer, listening, eating together, serving, and sharing our stories. We now believe that God is challenging us to focus our efforts on improving graduation rates in District 131. The current graduation rate in East Aurora is 60%. The state average is 82%, and in Naperville, it's 97%. We dream of seeing the graduation rate in East Aurora rise to 80%. We can't impact this statistic alone, and it isn't going to happen overnight. But we believe there are 3 key ways we can be a part of the solution. First, many children in East Aurora enter kindergarten without required basic skills. If kids start out behind, it is very difficult to catch up. 3rd graders reading at grade level are 4 times more likely to graduate from high school than 3rd graders reading below grade level. If kids are not prepared in kindergarten, they are already at risk of becoming a dropout statistic. We are developing an early childhood program to help prepare kids for kindergarten.
My name is Desiree Guzman, and I've been a part of Community 412 since it started. And I'm also the mom of 2 girls under 4. So I know that raising kids is tough no matter where you live. And that's why I started this playgroup for parents of young children, and why I'm dreaming of a permanent space in East Aurora where we can bring parents of diverse backgrounds together and provide early learning experiences for kids who don't have access to preschool. All parents dream of a bright future for their kids, but not all parents have equal access to what it takes to get there. And it shouldn't be like that. That's why I'm working with Community 412 to help expand access to early childhood learning experiences in East Aurora.
Second, for those children not working at grade level in elementary school, we want to provide tutoring and mentoring opportunities. So we need volunteers to be Saturday Stars tutors, Kids Hope mentors, and Brady buddies.
My name is Tina Sisko, and I am involved in this amazing program that we call Saturday Stars. I started with the program coordinating volunteers that were coming in every Saturday, and not only has it been an opportunity to come to Brady Elementary on Saturday mornings and spend some time with the students, learning and playing games and telling them that they're special, but it's also given me an opportunity to meet the volunteers, get to know the volunteers, and to really develop a sense of community.
Each week I come here to Brady Elementary School and I spend an hour with Christopher. We play games, we read books, we just hang out, and it's an opportunity for him to have somebody in his life that can encourage him and just be a positive presence. Being a Kids Hope mentor has really helped me become a better dad. When I think about that hour that I spend with Christopher just playing games and encouraging him and listening, when I go home, I think the same things with my kids, how important it is to spend that hour or any time really, just playing games and being a positive influence with my own kids. But Kids Hope has really helped me engage more as a dad.
Hi, my name is Debbie Fogelsong, and I'm a Brady buddy. I come to Brady Elementary once a week, and I spend about an hour here working in the classroom. This year I'm working with a 5th grade class, and usually when I'm here I'm helping them with math. Coming to Brady is one of the highlights of my week. I used to think that I was coming to help the teacher and the students, but I have found that I gain so much more by being here. I always leave here feeling special and encouraged, and I look forward to the hugs and smiles that I get every time I come.
Lastly, the best way to impact systemic change is for families who are committed to restoration to become a part of the school district. Only when you live in the neighborhood can you join parent-teacher organizations, run for the school board, and become real advocates in the community. Realtors claim the main reason families won't move to East Aurora is because of the quality of the schools. But if no one comes with the intention of fighting for change, how will things ever improve? We are praying that in addition to the 5 families that have already moved, that God would call 3 to 5 more families to relocate to East Aurora. We are so thankful that Community Christian Church has partnered with Community 412 through Celebration Generosity. Moving forward, we believe God can use us to help raise graduation rates in East Aurora by focusing on early childhood education, tutoring and mentoring, and having families immerse in the school district. He is counting on us to be His agents of restoration. Will you join us?
That is amazing stuff, and it's your generosity that's making that happen. Now, if I seem kind of excited about Celebration Generosity, it's because I am. Part of it is I've been to Haiti, and I've seen the needs that we are meeting in the poorest country in all the Western Hemisphere. I've been a part of the great work of Community 412 that's at work in under-resourced communities across Chicagoland. Now, I also want you to hear from our other two teams. The Philippines team, who's multiplying campuses and at the same time rescuing young children who are living on the streets, giving them a hope and a home. And then lastly, I couldn't be a bigger fan of New Thing. Over the last several years, we've seen it grow from 2 churches with just a couple thousand people to now more than 140 churches, 25 networks that this weekend will reach 40 to 50,000 people. And it's these new churches that are helping people find their way back to God by providing the people and resources that all these other teams need to accomplish their mission.
Hi, I'm Jeff Piscina, and I am the Director of Philippine Frontline Ministries. It's a ministry I founded 33 years ago when I left East Aurora to go to the Philippines. I want you to meet Morgan and Abby Stevenson. They're friends of Frontline, and they've been out with their family to the Philippines. They've actually made the journey 4 times. It's one thing for me to share with you the mission and the vision of Frontline, but since Abby and Morgan are veteran visitors to the Philippines, I thought it would be very interesting that our vision and our mission and our home could be shared with you through their eyes.
Hi, it's Morgan.
It's Abby.
And we just got back from our Monday day. We went to Tondo, and we went super early this morning to get there at 5 to wake the kids up off the street. And so Abby and I were kind of nervous going into it. We didn't know really what to expect because it was our first time.
I think that one of the coolest things for me when we were in Tondo was definitely getting to see really how much of an impact we give these kids. I mean, even just in Kids City when they had the donation box open to the Philippines, it's crazy to think that donating maybe $1, you are feeding so many kids and you're helping out so many kids.
At the same time, you're like super happy to be there. These kids are the sweetest. They're the funniest little kids you've ever seen. They're the cutest little kids you've ever seen, and they're dancing, jumping around with you. You're playing thumb wrestle and having fun, but then at the same time, you're seeing where they live.
It was literally like Christmas morning when you wake up someone and it's like, oh, it's Christmas, and they'll hop right out of bed. Well, this was, oh, you're getting fed today. And they hopped right out of bed because they were so excited.
I'd like to tell you the story of Rose May and Trixie. These are a couple of young girls that were recently brought in to Face the Children. Trixie's only 6 months old, and she was being cared for by her older sister, Rose May, who's only 9 years old. They'd been abandoned to the sidewalks in a slum area in Manila, and every day we would see little Rose May pushing Trixie around in a little cart through this slum area. And through our efforts and through your generosity, Trixie and Rose both were brought into the Face the Children program. And today their lives have been changed. Little Rose and Trixie both are being treated medically for illnesses and disease. Rose is now enjoying her first ever schooling. She's learning how to read and write. And in fact, little Trixie's already gaining weight and looks beautiful. And so these are the kinds of lives that are being touched and changed through your generosity and through the ministry in the Philippines.
We went to the Dump Site Ministry, and the Dump Site Ministry is literally what it is. It's a dump site. Right outside is a basically community of people who live right outside the dump site. Their houses are literally shacks, boxes, tin, just kind of
sometimes
formed,
sticks.
Formed into a house shelter.
Frontline Worship Center is our multi-site church. Currently we have 7 different sites around the San Pablo City area. And all of these sites are actually in the far-flung areas where usually we don't find churches that are operational. One of them, in fact, exists at a dump site among the poorest of the poor, people that live on as little as $1 a day. Our dream for Frontline Worship Center actually is that one day it would become a nationwide network of churches that are reaching out to the Filipino people.
I know the first time we came, the church was just a dream for our friend Pastor Noriel's. It was just his dream to start this church here. And it's really cool. It's been, I think, a year since they've opened. We actually get to go to their little party tonight. They're going to dance and sing for us.
Community Christian Church is a community, and that's one of the great things about our church. And it's not like that in the dump site, but now it's becoming like that because we are spreading that feel of community, that feel of friendship.
That's what they're teaching them, is that they can help each other, that they can have this like faith or dependency on each other and not be so hostile.
We want to thank Community Christian Church. Through Celebration Generosity, you're making a huge difference in the Philippines. Lives are being changed, children are being reached, churches are being planted. One day we'll have so much to celebrate for your generosity toward the Filipino people.
So, yeah. Goodbye!
Hey, my name is Patrick O'Connell. I'm the new director of New Thing. I'm really not that new to New Thing, though. You see, I found my way back to God right here at Community about 9 years ago. I got baptized. I joined a small group, became an apprentice, began leading small groups, soon coaching, and all of that good stuff. And then Troy McMahon kind of wrecked my life by asking me to go to Kansas City and help him start a series of churches that we call Restore. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, and I am so glad I did it. And now as New Thing Director, I have this amazing vantage point to see God do some beautiful things in big ways and small ways across our movement. One of the things that I really love to do is hear the stories from our New Thing churches. Many of you might remember Hank Wilson. Hank Wilson used to be on staff right here at Community, and then he went to Boston to plant some churches. He's doing some amazing things. And he's got a story to tell us. Here's Hank in his own words.
In 2005, my family and I moved to the city to plant a church that would help people find their way back to God. We started with just a handful of people, and we've grown to about 500 people at our weekend gatherings. We now have 2 locations, one that meets here in the Back Bay, and then our second location meets at the historic Somerville Theater, which is just north of Harvard. And from the very beginning, we've been a part of the New Thing Network. So the Boston Marathon is run on April 15th, and it's an important time in our city. There's just kind of comes alive, and of course the marathon that day was interrupted by the 2 bombings that took place really just right over here on Boylston Street. Just a day later, I think, we had baptisms planned, and we were trying to figure out, what do we do? And I went to my staff first, and they just said, no, we got to do these baptisms. And a couple of them even said, I can't think of a better way to show that life comes from death through Jesus Christ. So at that point, we went forward with it. We had one of the largest baptism gatherings that we've ever had. There were a lot of people that came to our baptism gatherings who don't typically come, but they wanted to come and to be in a spiritual community of faith, and they wanted to pray, and it was just a beautiful event. The generosity of Community Christian Church is making a huge impact here in Boston. Through Celebration Generosity and giving to the New Thing Network, it's made a difference in churches like ours, and we are so grateful. You may never see it, but I can personally attest to the fact that lives are being changed every day in our community.
Before coming to Reunion, I was living a lie. On the outside, I looked like a happy girl with everything together. I had a good job, I paid my bills, I volunteered regularly, but the truth is, I was hiding painful secrets. It was all I could do to just sit in the back and cry and then sneak out before anybody could see me. I was pretty sure that if anybody knew the kind of person that I was, they would want nothing to do with me. But I kept coming because I found something at Reunion that I'd never experienced before outside of a drink or a drug. Relief. At Hank's suggestion, I immediately joined a community group, started serving in hospitality as a way to plug in. I honestly thought Hank was crazy when he asked me if I was interested in serving. I'd always figured that I was too broken to do anything worthwhile, or that I had to fix myself before God could use me in any way. But I took that step in faith. So for the past 6 months, I have been faithfully attending Reunion Back Bay, serving in setup and hospitality, and going to community group every week. and God has truly been transforming my heart. Honestly, my life has changed so much in the past year. It's like I'm a whole new person. Before having God in my life, I was hopeless and suicidal. I was completely consumed by the guilt and pain and shame of my past. But today, by the grace of God, I'm alive and I am joyful, and I'm surrounded by a community of Christ followers who know me and love me. Had I not found Reunion last year and experienced the unconditional love of Jesus Christ, I know that I wouldn't be here today. I truly believe that Christ has blessed me with a second chance at life, his life, and I couldn't be more grateful.
I can't think of 4 better causes to invest in. I mean, real life change, real community transformation, and people finding their way back to God. I mean, I love it. You know, over the last several weeks, we've been learning from the story of the Good Samaritan and challenging ourselves to get off our donkey. You know, just when I thought there wasn't anything more I could learn about the story, somebody this week asked me, why do we call him the Good Samaritan? And I thought, well, because he's a good guy. He did something good. But then this person pushed back and said, but I'm sure people would have described the priest and the Levite as good too, so what was different about the Samaritan? I thought he had a good point. Well, I did a little homework, and the truth is, nowhere does Jesus ever describe the Samaritan as good. In fact, furthermore, he was never called good until sometime around 1679, and it first appeared in a heading in an English translation of the Bible. Now, all this got me thinking, okay, if being good was not what set the Samaritan apart, what was it? And that's when it hit me. He was generous. That's what it was. He generously gave his time to take care of the wounded man. He generously gave of his stuff to bandage him up and heal the man. He was generous with his money, right, to make sure the man had a place to stay. What should we call him? We should call him the generous Samaritan, because in that moment, he gave away the best of what God had given him to help somebody else. So the best application of this series, Get Off Your Donkey, is to be generous and give God your best. And that is exactly what I'm challenging each of you to do. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to write down how much you plan to give. But what I'd like to do first is I want to read you an email that we got just last week. It's from a brand new attender. She's a single young lady who's been coming for about a month, loves community, joined a small group, starting to shadow in Kids City. She's already getting this idea that God gets your very best, and that's not just an amount. It's about him being first place. And here's what she had to say. I just wanted to say thank you so much for such a great service this weekend. I really heard the message, and it moved me. Since I don't have much money, I want to be a part of Celebration Generosity. I decided what I would do is I'd make some jewelry and try to sell it. I'm pretty crafty, and I have some friends that I think would buy it. Even if it's just a few dollars, I want to help the 3 million homeless children in the Philippines. I feel like God is calling me to do this, and I just want to say thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, community. I know she's brand new to community, but she gets what Celebration's all about. She's putting God first. She's doing something out of the ordinary to say, okay, God, on this time, this event, you get my very best. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Do something extraordinary, out of the ordinary, that says, God, you get first place. God, you get my very best. And I want you to know, I'm in this with you. I'm not just challenging you, I'm challenging myself. Sue and I, my wife and I have talked about this, and we're going to give this weekend our largest gift of the year. And you know why? Because it's Celebration Generosity. We need moments just like this where we clearly put God first. Times when we make a bold statement that says, you know what, God, you get my best. Now, here's the deal. I'm not going to tell you how much to give. I'm not going to tell you what number to put on here. But here's my challenge to you. Put God first. Like it says, first fruits, first place. Give God your very best. Let the amount that you write on that card say that God has first place in my life. that, God, this is for you because you deserve my very best. All right? So here it is, community. It's Celebration Generosity. Edgewater, I know you get this. You prove it in the way that you love your neighborhood. Carolyn, you've been so faithful. Keep it up. Lincoln Park, what a great way to start as you prepare to launch in just 2 weeks. Lincoln Square, God's blessed you with a brand new space. Thank God by showing him he's first. East Aurora, we're so proud of what you're doing. Give God your very best. Lamont, you're growing spiritually and numerically. Grow in generosity too. Montgomery, you have a history of giving in every sense of that word. Do it again. Naperville Downtown, you're one of our most generous campuses. This is another opportunity to say, God, you are first. Plainfield, God is moving and blessing you in amazing ways right now. Give him your best. Romeoville, you love worshiping God. This is how you show that it's sincere worship. Shorewood, you've always led in generosity. Keep being faithful. Yorkville, I know you have a heart for local and global needs. This is your opportunity. Naperville Yellow Box, we need your leadership. Set the pace. This is our holiday, community. It's called Celebration Generosity. There's people who are doing without. This is our chance to give them not a handout, but a hand up. There's kids on the streets. We can offer them a hope and a home. Kids next door who start with so much less have the opportunity for so much more now. And people who are headed for a Christless eternity. They can know Jesus and find their way back to God. Do something today that shows God he is first, that God gets your very best. Let's pray. Father God, in a word, not only is that Samaritan generous, but in a word, you are generous. Your word reminds us that every good gift comes from you. Let us just right now pause and just remember all the good gifts that you've given us, the way that you've been generous to us. And on this day, it's our opportunity just to say back to you, here, you get first place. I'm going to give this back to you, my very best. And it's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.